Hi, everybody. Welcome to the OnStage Blog Theatre Podcast. And really excited today. We are doing kind of a mid-year update on what we've been watching, what we've been seeing. Plus, we're going to be previewing what's coming up to Broadway in the fall 2024 season. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm theater critic Rachel Wagner, and I have with me as my guest, I have my very good friend, Jacklyn Collier is here. And Jax, this is your first time on this particular podcast. And so why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners? Tell us a little bit about what you do as an actor and teacher and your other things that you do.
It's so great to be on this podcast with Rachel. Even though I've not been on this particular show, we are no strangers to podcasting with each other.
That's right.
And Rachel is one of my favorite theater buddies. I wish we lived closer so we could go all the time. I've always been a theater nerd since I was really little. I've loved doing theater, watching theater. I'm MFA in acting and I teach kids. And, it was fun to meet Rachel through our Hallmark love in the Hallmark world. But I feel like we have so much more in common than just Hallmark because we both just have such an appetite for all things theater. So it's really exciting that I get to be on this show talking to you about all this.
Yeah. So you not only perform, but you're a teacher, correct?
Yes, and we'll get into it a little bit when we're previewing some of the things, but it was really cool to look at the list of what's coming up because I was just working with two of my students on things that they're auditioning for. We don't know if they've booked it yet, but I really love working with, right now I'm working with girls between the ages of 8 and 19. And it's really cool to get to see them get to engage with this material and think about when I was young and doing this, and now getting to do it with them is a lot of fun.
Do you do most of your teaching like over Zoom, or is it in person?
Actually, most of it's in person. Every once in a while I'll do over Zoom, but we'll either rent a rehearsal studio or I'll go to their apartment and they'll come to mine. But I feel like we get a lot more done when we're in person. And, interestingly enough, especially now where most auditions are not in person, they're doing them on tape. A lot of times I'll put my students on tape. I really miss being in person for auditions. I do think you kind of lose something if you never get to go to an audition in person.
Yeah. So for that age range, do you have like your go-to both suggested audition pieces and ones, don't do this one? This one's
So I actually try to stay away from saying don't do this, even if it's something that is like, say, overdone. If they have it and they want to do it in a really original or interesting way or just authentic and truthful way, I'm fine with it. A lot of my go-tos that I'll have them work on, which I know you just recently saw Matilda. I love Lavender has a really cute monologue from Matilda that I think is a really great comedic monologue for kids. I love Scout from To Kill a Mockingbird, Putnam County Spelling Bee, Our Town, Diary of Anne Frank, depending on what they want to work on. We pull a lot of monologues from stuff like that. And then a lot of times for the coachings that I do, they're working on audition material for either TV or film or for new things that are coming up. So it's really fun to get to work on original material with the kids too. And then they get to put their own spin on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what I have been seeing. So I just did my best of theater 2024 so far, my midway awards, quote unquote. I by no means have seen everything in this in Utah where I'm from, but I haven't seen every cast too. A lot of times things are double cast, and so it's by no means comprehensive, as I said in my thing.
But I would say you do pretty darn good, Rachel.
I do the best I can. And I saw, as of today is the 10th of June that we're recording this, I have seen 62 shows and 16 straight plays. 16 of those are straight plays, 46 musicals. And that did include a trip to DC. I saw Tick, Tick, Boom at the Kennedy Center, and that was unbelievable. Blew my mind. I love that show so much. I love the songs. And it was an incredible production. Brandon Uranowitz was incredible as Jonathan. And I don't know why this hasn't gotten picked up for Broadway. I really don't. I mean, with the popularity of the movie, it seems like it would be a no-brainer. Like it has like an apartment set. Like it's not like it's got like a small cast. There's I think 4 people in the whole cast. So it just seems like it would be super cheap, super popular, and yeah, so
Yeah, I don't get it either why it hasn't been. I'm curious what you thought. Did you like the movie?
oh, I love the movie, yeah.
I
One of
love
my
it too.
literally one of my favorite like movies, period.
I think it is. I think Andrew Garfield is out of this world in that
Yeah,
movie.
he's so good. And I just really like connected with whether it's on Broadway or in the movie. I really connect with just the like struggles of a creative. You know, that he has this thing he wants to share with people, but people don't want it. And how frustrating that can be, and in trying to make something that people like. And I just really connect with the message and his struggles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So we did actually an entire episode of this podcast on Tick Tick Boom. So if people want to hear more of my thoughts on both movie and show, they should. But that was really incredible to go. Plus, you know, I got to see my sister, and it's kind of fun because next year they are doing, the Kennedy Center is doing Schmigadoon, and it's the same weekend. And so, I mean, obviously I have to go. And I'm like, this could be like a new fun tradition that like every because my birthday's at the end of January and my sister's birthday is the beginning of February. So like this could be a new little sort of birthday tradition to do a DC trip up to see the
I think you kind of have to do it now. It's got to be a thing.
I was like, I absolutely have to see the Schmigadoon musical. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I'm still so sad that we're not gonna get season 3.
I know. It's a bummer.
They've said that there was going to be Les Mis, Cats, Phantom. Oh,
so good.
It's such a loss.
Do you know why they said no? I didn't read why they said no.
I mean, it just must not have been successful enough, I guess. I mean, I'm sure it's an expensive show, huge cast, all the productions, numbers have to be expensive, but they had it like done. They have it written, which is just like, oh. So it is. I hope someday somebody, you know, maybe picks it up when we get it. But anyway, I'm excited to see that musical at the Kennedy Center next year. But the other professional musical that was my favorite was Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet at Pioneer Theater Company. I actually saw it twice because I mean I went once on the media day and then I paid for it once myself because it's just the kind of show that's not going to be done that much. Just the scale of it and everything. And I just and Kevin Early, I believe, is the actor's name playing Pierre. Absolutely amazing. He was, I mean, when he does Dust and Ashes, I just felt bad for all the other singers because it's like, oh my gosh.
Like, sorry, go home.
Yeah. And you just watch this show and you just think, how did this get greenlit? Like, how did anybody think that this was good? I mean, I'm glad that they did, but like there's just this obscure part of this, you know, lengthy Russian novel. The music is just really different. It's not like easily accessible, I don't think. I don't know, it just every part of it's just like, this is so different and so interesting. And I just really enjoyed it.
I think it's incredible when something gets the green light that is off the beaten path and they take a risk and it pays off.
Yeah. I mean, because it's not based on like a movie or, you know, a lot of these sort of safe bets that they take so often that I just found it very impressive. I mean, the only part of it that was maybe like a teeny tiny bit disappointing is they had really sold that they had like transformed the stage and it was going to be this like really immersive experience. And they came out into the audience like twice and it was a beautiful set.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, it didn't blow my mind.
Like, this is not as advertised.
Yeah. It was just like, it was very impressive, but nothing that was like game changing.
Yes. Yes.
So, but Pioneer Theater Company had just an incredible season. The only thing I didn't like was Bonnie and Clyde, but they did it incredibly. So the people that were a fan of it, I know somebody saw it 6 times. So people that do like that show, they were very pleased, but it wasn't my favorite. But other than that, they just had an incredible season, and they are probably the finest company in Utah, equity company. So that was really cool. Then the best professional play that I saw was a little play called The Bald Sisters that was at Salt Lake Acting Company. This was really good. It's about these Cambodian immigrant family, and the loss of their mother and these 2 sisters, and how they're trying to navigate their relationship, and they're very different personalities. And somebody who's one of 4 sisters, I just really connected with it, and I thought they were both excellent, and so that was really good. And then I also at Pioneer Theater Company, they did the Layman trilogy.
Yes.
Which was very impressive. So now in semi-professional, the Spring Awakening at the Hart Theater Company was absolutely amazing. First time I've seen Spring Awakening. This was in a black box, but it was so like raw and honest and well acted, and they had live musicians, and it was excellent, really good.
I actually think Spring Awakening would play really well in the black box.
Yeah.
I saw it years ago when it was on Broadway, but I feel like with the microphones and the way everything is all set up, I think it's actually the perfect show for a black box.
Yeah, it worked really well. And then the other one was Catch Me If You Can at Music Theater West, and they are unbelievable. Music Theater West. It is as good as anything I've seen on Broadway. They are absolutely, I have to drive over an hour to get there, but it's 100% worth it. They are really good. And I think Catch Me If You Can is like a very underrated show. I really like all the songs. I guess when it was on Broadway, it was like staged really odd with like projections, and it was just like handled weirdly. Because I mean, my friend told me, he was like, oh, I didn't like that at all. But I don't know, every time I've ever seen it, I just think it's like really fun, and I love the music, and just really, they had great costumes, incredible choreography. It was great.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've also heard that the Broadway staging was bizarre.
Yeah. And that can make a big difference. Yeah. And then the best local play was they did Parker Theater, which does all period pieces, Pride and Prejudice, and it was absolutely fantastic. I saw it twice. So good. I was saying that I wish that it could be just a permanent residency, because I would just keep going and going.
You're like once a week, baby.
It really would. It was so good. And then another fun thing at the Parker Theater is they have themed concessions, including a special sundae that you can get for each show, which is just fun. I think it makes it a more immersive. It just adds to the experience.
I love anything immersive, and I think when you see, whether it's the food or the drinks, you see that it's this experience that had so much thought put into it.
Yeah.
I just think it's so lovely.
Yeah, I do too. And then at West Valley Performing Arts Center, which has been fighting for its life, West Valley Performing Arts Center, they're trying to shut it down, but they got a year extension. So we're so happy about that. We've got at least a year to work to try it, because they're phenomenal. And they did Shakespeare in Love, and it was so good. The 2 of them had just electric chemistry. I couldn't believe they were so.
Do you know they had worked together before, or?
I don't, but I mean, it was palpable. Like, it was so good, the chemistry. And
worked together before, or were secretly dating.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. So then some other good ones that I saw Legally Blonde at Draper Historic, which is just this amazing little theater right in my hometown. And I love Legally Blonde. I think it is such an entertaining show. And I saw both casts. They were great. My Fair Lady at there's this theater called the Heritage Theater, and it's this old church that they have renovated. And what I love so much about this Heritage Theater is I've been going to see their shows for over 2 years, and every single show I see from them, I see improvement. They have grown and they're open to feedback and they're open to criticism. I just really admire what they're doing there. And this My Fair Lady was outstanding. They had incredible chemistry that I even bought the ending, which I usually hate that on My Fair Lady.
Yeah, and the ending's sometimes hard to buy.
Yeah, it was great. And then Starlight Express, I saw it was a teen performance. It was it's at the Leahona Academy, and it was outstanding. I loved it so much. They converted the entire theater into this racetrack, and they had everything like roped off, and they're zooming around, and it's one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's introduction, I call them introduction musicals, where it's not really a story. It's just like, here's this character, here's this character. And that's the way that Joseph, that's the way certainly the Cats is, and that's the way this is. So you don't go to it for the story. It's all about the spectacle and the skating, and it was so good. They crushed it.
Did anyone look like they were nervous on their skates?
No, they were really good. These teens teens are so confident so often, they just know how to sell it.
They're so confident. Yeah. Like when I was in grad school, I had a roller skate on stage, and I will say it did not go great.
Yeah, it wouldn't go well for me.
Nope.
But no trip ups, no problems, at least when I saw it. So that was really fun. And then I actually saw Daddy Longlegs 4 times. So Point of Protections, because I love it so much. And they were all wonderful, but it was especially neat. One of the cast had these Sydney and Bronson Dameron that are a married couple in real life, playing Jervis and Jerusha. And they're super talented too. And that was very special.
I love that. I like when you can see either married couples or siblings or people that know each other working together. It's always fun to see that chemistry. Yeah. And that was at Lehigh Arts Council, which is one of the best art councils in this area. They always, I haven't had a loser from them yet. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the Little Mermaid at the Bluffdale Arts Council. And this was unbelievable. They said, we will cast anybody who wants to participate. And they got the word out because there were over 200 people in this cast. Stop. Yeah. They just had, most of them were kids, but they had 25 seagulls, and then they had 25 turtles and guppies, and they just kept coming in, and everybody's singing, and it was unbelievable. That's true community theater when you're really I love that. It's beautiful. That way everyone can participate that wants to. Yeah. And I also appreciate that the Ariel that they had was a legit high school student. She looked young, which added to the whole story. Yeah, which is great because you're it's the youngest daughter. She doesn't know her way. Yeah. I love that. Because obviously I have my issues with that adaptation. I don't think it's particularly good, but it was a special experience to be part of such a community event. Yes. Yeah. This is truly amazing. Yeah. So that's some of the best. I don't know. Have you had the chance lately to see anything on the stage? Have you been able to? Well, speaking of Little Mermaid, yesterday I saw Little Mermaid Junior. Oh, fun. Minute she played Flounder. She was adorable. I saw, and I would be so interested, Rachel, to get your take on this show. I'm wondering if it will have a regional life. Mary Jane, it was Rachel McAdams' first time. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was incredible. Carrie Coon had done the off-Broadway production of it, and she got really good reviews too. Very interesting. It's a tough watch though. It's about a woman who has a child who's ill. The child never appears on stage, but it's it was some of the rawest subject matter I've ever seen on stage. Yeah, I heard that was really good. Yeah, really, really incredible. Mm-hmm. And it's always so interesting, much like you, I love seeing things, whether it's like a kids production, a community theater production, Broadway, off Broadway, regional. I just think it's really incredible to see what people can do when they come together to make art like this.
Yeah. It's really fun. I live for that experience. It's the best. Well, so now what we're going to do is we are going to talk about what's coming to Broadway, and we'll just give it like a 1 to 4 as far as your excitement level.
Yes,
So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. So we have coming up, the first preview starts on the 26th. It opens on July 11th. So coming up, maybe even be after this airs. I'm not sure when this will air. But anyway, it's called Oh Mary. And this stars Cole Escola and director Sam Pinkleton. The hit off-Broadway comedy about Mary Todd Lincoln will transfer to Broadway for a 12-week run. And this says here, written by and starring Cole Escola, Oh Mary centers on famous First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln in the weeks leading up to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. In Escola's demented take, Mary Todd becomes a madcap, cabaret-obsessed alcoholic. And so what do you think about this?
So in this off-Broadway run, which I did not see, but everyone I know that saw it says it was one of the best things they've seen on stage. My sister texted me after. My sister likes theater, not the way I love theater, but she really, really likes it. She's like, besides every character you've ever played, because I'm her sister, she's like, this is my favorite character I've ever seen on stage.
Oh, wow.
This has been like across the board. People are saying that this is just incredible. So for me, this is definitely a 4. I need to get tickets to it. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it really nails the humor, and I always say funny saves all. So if it's
100%.
funny, then I don't care if it's lewd or inappropriate or all that stuff that adds to it. And I guess it's a play, it's not a musical.
Exactly, yes.
So yeah, I'll go for it. I'll give it a 4. Why not?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be really epic. People really, and it was, Rachel, the tickets were so expensive because it was just selling out immediately.
And it's only, I wonder why they're only doing a short run.
I'm curious too.
Yeah. So then next we have Job, and this the first preview starts on July 15th. It opens on July 30th. Critically it stars Peter Friedman, Sidney Lemon, writer Max Wolf Friedrich, and director Michael Hurwitz. The critically acclaimed thriller comes to Broadway following sold-out runs at off-Broadway's Soho Playhouse and Connolly Theater. Play follows Jane, an employee at a big tech company who has been placed on leave after becoming the subject of a viral video. She arrives in the office of crisis therapist Lloyd, determined to be reinstated at the job that gives her life meaning. So, yeah, what do you think?
I'm really interested in this one. Soho Playhouse usually does a lot of good things. I'm intrigued by it. This storyline sounds interesting. I love reading thrillers. I don't always like watching them on TV, and I'm trying to think of a thriller that I've seen on stage. I'm gonna give this a 3 though. I'm intrigued by it. I want to know what's up with it. I just haven't heard a lot of buzz about it. How about you?
I haven't seen that many thrillers. I've seen Wait Until Dark twice. And I've seen some mysteries.
Oh, I forgot. Wait Until Dark is great.
Yeah. I've seen some mysteries. Yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. I think it'll depend a lot on the performances. It is Peter Friedman, Tony nominee for Ragtime and Succession, and Sidney Lemon it was in Tar and Hellstrom. So yeah, it sounds like it's got a pretty good cast. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, then we have Once Upon a Mattress, and this previews on July 31st. It opens August 12th. Stars Sutton Foster and Michael Urie. Writers Mary Rogers, Marshall Bearer, Jay Thompson, Dean Fuller, Amy Sherman Palladino in this adaptation. Director Lear de Bossonnet, The Encore's production of the beloved fairy tale musical will come to Broadway for a limited engagement. And, I love Once Upon a Mattress. I think it's hilarious. That's very curious to me that Amy Sherman Palladino did this this revival adaptation, because I love her.
Love her. And I didn't realize she had done this adaptation.
No, I didn't either.
Send me this link. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Says it also appears that the transfer will not use the musical's original orchestration as it did in the earlier run. The transfer will feature orchestrations by Bruce Coughlin, who also scored the musical's 1996 revival. So that's interesting. And I just really think it's funny. I think the songs are really good. So I'm excited to see kind of this get a little bit. I felt like it was kind of underappreciated for a while. So you can't do more than have Sutton Foster. I mean,
oh my gosh, 100%. We did this musical when I was in high school, and yeah, and I remember watching Carol Burnett, like clips of Carol Burnett Winifred, and I think that Sutton Foster doing it, I mean, she's just such a tour de force. Like, you think of her in Thoroughly Modern Millie and Drowsy Chaperone and Music Man and all these other things she's done. I think Michael Urie is going to be a great Dauntless too. I think so.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So I'm going to give it a 4. I mean, I would love to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.8. Am I allowed to give 3.8?
Sure,
I'm like very, very excited about it. If you find your way here for August 12th, how many weeks does it go?
They don't say. I don't see it on this article. Does it say? It just says limited run will continue through November 30th.
Oh, you got a little time, Rachel.
Yeah. Okay, we'll try.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have The Roommate. This opens on the 29th. The preview started on the 29th of August, and it opens on September 12th. It stars Mia Farrow and Patti LuPone. Farrow and Patti LuPone will return to Broadway in Jen Silverman's comedy about identity, morality, and the promise of reinvention. So this play, one-act comedy, will begin. Let's see here. It says, in The Roommate, Sharon's never had a roommate before. In fact, there's a lot Sharon's never done before, but Robin's about to change all that. The play follows the blossoming intimacy between two women from different backgrounds as they navigate the complexities of identity, morality, and the promise of reinvention. So what do you think?
I mean, are you freaking kidding me? Mia Farrow, Patti LuPone.
Yeah. I mean,
a relationship that I think deserves to be explored more, like the relationship you have with a roommate. Like, I think it's really, really interesting, funny, a one act. For me, this is definitely a 4. Like, I thought Patti LuPone, when she gave up her equity card, was not going to do Broadway anymore. So I'm so glad she's back, baby.
Yeah. Oh, I knew that wouldn't last long.
Right.
Come on. What a diva. But that makes me more inclined to see this. I mean, sounds like her character is going to be a lot. It's going to be good. So then we have McNeal. It's called. This opens on September 30th. First preview September 5th. It stars Robert Downey Jr. and writer Ayad Akhtar and director Bartlett Sher. Academy Award winner Robert Downey Jr. will make his Broadway debut in Ayad Akhtar's new play about a great writer, his estranged son, and his unhealthy fascination with artificial intelligence. So what do you think?
Okay, here's the thing. Plot-wise, not really my thing that I'm super intrigued by, but Robert Downey Jr. on stage, very interested in that. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm intrigued. Bartlett Sher is really great director. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3. Where do you sit with this one?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the plot sounds, it just depends on the writing, if the writing's good, but it has to be like, you have to figure it's got to be somewhat decent to have attracted someone like Robert Downey Jr. to make his Broadway debut.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
So it's definitely intriguing. So yeah, I'll give it a 3 as well. 3. Okay, then we have The Hills of California. This previews on September 11th and goes and opens on September 29th. Writer Jez Butterworth, director Sam Mendes. Jez Butterworth's new play comes to Broadway following its acclaimed run in London's West End. And let me see here. Set in swelteringly hot 1970s summer, the piece sees the Webb sisters returning to their childhood home in the English seaside town of Blackpool. One sister hasn't been heard from in 2 decades, but her siblings hope that with their mother close to death upstairs, that she might reappear after all. So that sounds emotional.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes, that's intriguing to me. And I guess it already had, a run in London, so that's usually a good sign. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably give this a 3 as well. It'll be interesting to see who they cast.
Yeah, I think this one. So I saw Jerusalem when it was on Broadway, and I saw Mojo on the West End. So I like Jez Butterworth. I think his plays are really interesting, kind of like a little weird, but weird in a good way.
Okay.
Actually, yesterday I was working with one of my students she's auditioning for this, and the sides that she read were interesting. They were good. They did not send the full script, so I didn't get to read it. But I'm intrigued enough that I like you will give this a 3.
Okay, cool. Then we have Our Town, and this previews September 17th. It opens October 10th. It stars Jim Parsons, Zoe Douche, Katie Holmes, Billy Eugene Jones, Ephraim Sykes, Richard Thomas, Michelle Wilson, Julia Halston, Donald Weber Jr., writer Thornton Wilder, director Kenny Leon. Kenny Leon directs the first Broadway revival of Thornton Wilder's Pulitzer Prize-winning classic in nearly 25 years. And I love Our Town. One of the great disappointments of my young life was when my best friend got cast as Emily over me in Our Town. I was so jealous.
Your best friend?
My best friend.
No, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
No.
Those hard lessons we have to learn as children, right?
And then you have to watch her do it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
But I mean, how can you not be a 4 on this? Look at this incredible cast. Richard Thomas. Oh,
I am 100% a 4 on this. Our Town's also one of my favorite plays. I think, look, people like what they like. I think if you don't like Our Town, you don't get it. And because I think people think it's oh, it's trite or it's cheesy or it's whatever. It is one of the greatest American plays. It is so beautiful. It is just
the only thing I could see is some people might think it's a little long. It is a little over. Yeah. It's a long sit, but I really do love it. So
it is really, there was a production when I first moved to New York that I saw that was in a very, very small theater. It was directed by David Cromer, who's a really great director. He also played the stage manager for a little while, and it was with they had of course a lot of times with Our Town, no props, nothing like that. But then at the end, the third act was you could smell the bacon cooking. They had all the props, they had all the set. It was this really, that basically the third act after she goes back after death was the most vibrant. And it is a beautiful play, and I cannot wait to see this one.
And Jim Parsons will be the stage manager. So
I think you'll be really good at that. I think you'll be really good.
Yeah. So then we have Maybe Happy Ending. This opens for previews on the 18th and it opens on October 17th. Stars Darren Criss, Helen J. Shen, Des Duran, writers Will Aronson, book and music, and Hugh Park, book and lyrics. Director Michael Arden. A new science fiction musical about the developing relationship between 2 robots. It previously played in South Korea and at Atlanta's Alliance Theater. What do we think about this?
What do I think about this? I think that Darren Criss is very talented. I'm sure all these other people are. This is going to be I think a musical that people will be obsessed with, people will love. This one is not for me. What
So
about you?
set in South Korea, the musical follows a helper bot 3 that has been deemed obsolete. When his helper bot neighbor drops by to borrow a charger, a bond is formed, the beginning of a surprising and romantic adventure. So I guess I just would have to hear the songs, and I don't know. I mean, I always am up for a musical and a romance, musical romance. But I mean, it definitely sounds out there. So it's
The
nice
robots
to,
is what throws me off. I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
okay,
but it's nice to see something original that's not based on
totally.
a movie or, so I definitely would be willing, I definitely would be willing to give it a shot. But we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm going to give it a 3 just because I'm intrigued enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it could be real cringe.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2, but if someone offers me a free ticket, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, then we have Romeo and Juliet. This is preview starts September 26th, opening October 24th. It stars Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler, obviously written by William Shakespeare and director Sam Gold. Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler will make their Broadway debuts in production of Shakespeare's beloved romantic tragedy. It's not my favorite Shakespeare. It's one of my least favorite Shakespeare's, actually, Romeo and Juliet. But I'd be intrigued because Kit Connor, I love from Heartstopper, and Rachel Zegler, I love. It almost seems a little bit of a shame to have her in a non-musical, but
I know. Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, after she already played Maria, already. So, um, but yeah, I'm still probably gonna give it a 2, but just because I just don't love Romeo and Juliet. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Romeo and Juliet a lot. I'm really interested. Jamie Lloyd's company is doing a production of Romeo and Juliet um, in London that I'm actually much more
That's the
interested in.
one with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
much more interested in seeing that one. I really like Jamie Lloyd's company that we're actually going to talk about in one
Mhm.
second about the next play that we're talking, or about the
Mhm.
next musical that we're talking about. I'm interested, but for me, it's like a 2.5. It's not one I need to run to the theater to see, but if the opportunity presents itself for a cheap ticket, I'll be there.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Then we have Sunset Boulevard, a revival. This preview starts September 28th. It opens October 20th. Stars Nicole Scherzinger, Tom Francis, Grace Hodgett Young, and David Thaxton. Writers Andrew Lloyd Webber, Don Black, and Christopher Hampton. And director Jamie Lloyd. The acclaimed West End revival of the musical adaptation of Billy Wilder's classic film is coming to Broadway in 2024. And so, I mean, Nicole Scherzinger must have been super bummed when Donald made her announcement about Gypsy.
I know.
Because, yeah. But I mean, heck, I think she doesn't seem quite old enough to play Norma Desmond to me, but that'd be my only but yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that actually, and they were like, they had read an interview or talked to someone who'd seen it or something along the lines of like, there's a certain different kind of interesting tragicness about it, even though she doesn't seem old enough. Like there's this weird, like even if you're a very young actor, like you still have this fear. So the pictures I've seen of this, and I saw Jamie Lloyd's production of Seagull, um, that was amazing. I really am excited to see this production. I really hope I get to. This one's probably like a 3.7 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'd probably say like 3.5. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Okay, then we have Yellowface. This opens previews September 13th, opens on October 1st, starring Daniel Day Kim, writer David Henry Hwang, and director Lee Silverman. Broadway premiere of David Henry Hwang's comedy about the complexities of race. So that sounds intense, but also comedy. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's intriguing.
Yeah, I'm intrigued too. I give this a 3.5. I think that it sounds like it's going to be really smart and important too, which I think
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have A Wonderful World. This preview start October 16th, opens November 11th, starring James Monroe Iclart, writer Aaron Squire, and director Christopher Renshaw. A musical about the life of legendary jazz musician Louis Armstrong. The musical premiered in Miami Beach in winter 2021 and played a pre-Broadway run in New Orleans in fall 2023. So yeah, I mean, that's James Monroe. He did the Genie, right? I think he
Yes,
did the
I think
James
so. Yeah.
Monroe Iclart. He did the Genie, and so yeah, he's great. 4 for me. Yeah.
For me, this is more like a 3. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested, but I feel like with everything else that's coming, it's not one of my like, oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Okay, then we have Tammy Faye. This starts previews October 19th, opens November 14th. Writers Elton John, Jake Shears, James Graham, director Rupert Gold. A musical about the life and career of televangelist Tammy Faye. The Olivier Award-nominated musical premiered in London in fall 2022. I've only heard good things about this. So yeah, I mean, most of Elton John's musicals I've liked.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about this. I had 2 good friends who went in for it and neither of them booked it. So I'm a little bit like, oh,
Yeah.
you should have hired them. You're wrong. But I am intrigued by it for sure.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 3 for me.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, then we have Death Becomes Her. This starts previews on the 23rd, opens November 21st, stars Megan Hilty, Jennifer Simard, Christopher Sieber, Michelle Williams, writers Julia Matheson and Noel Carey, Marco Panetti, obviously based on the 1992 Robert Zemeckis film about eternal youth, a premiere production in Chicago's Cadillac Palace Theater in April 2024. I do have a friend who saw this and he loved it in Chicago. And so I'm pretty hyped about this. I do think the movie really lends itself well to a musical.
Definitely. And I really love Megan Hilty's great, Christopher
Oh
Sieber's great,
yeah.
Michelle Williams. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I think it's 4.
Yeah, I'll give this
Yeah.
a 4 too.
And then Gypsy is the one that broke Michelle Williams' heart. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But the preview November 21st, it opens December 19th. It stars Audra McDonald, writers Jewel Stein, Stephen Sondheim, Arthur Lawrence, director George C. Wolfe. 6-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald returns to Broadway in the legendary role of Madame Rose in the timeless Broadway musical. I have never seen Gypsy. That is a blind spot of mine. But I mean, how can you not be excited about this? I mean, come on.
I love Gypsy. I did like a community theater production when I was younger, and Gypsy I just think is one of those like perfect musicals. Like
Yeah.
the songs, because of the nature of the show, it just lends itself so well to these like moments of song. And like you said, are you kidding me? Audra McDonald, directed by George C. Wolfe. Like this
Yeah.
is one of those iconic roles of a lifetime, and seeing Audra McDonald, who's like, yeah, this is incredible. This is like a 4.5 for me, off the charts.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Okay, then we have Eureka Day. This previews November 25th, and writer Jonathan Spector, director Anna D. Shapiro, the Broadway premiere of Jonathan Spector's comedy about a vaccination debate in a private California elementary school. Not for me. That does not sound good at all to me. But I mean, I guess it's a comedy. You can, like I said, funny saves all. So if it's funny,
Yeah.
then, but just that premise sounds not the best.
It sounds kind of boring to me, but it sounds like one of those
cringy
things. Yeah, yes, it does. But like you said, if it's funny, funny saves all. I'm curious to see.
A lot of like interesting comedies coming up. I feel like a couple actually that are they don't have a set date.
Yeah.
I'll just do those real quick. We have Left on 10th. This stars Juliana Margulies, Peter Gallagher, writer Delia Ephron, and director Susan Stroman, a new play based on Delia Ephron's memoir of the same name. So for me, that's huge. I love Delio Efron. And I mean, Juliana Margulies, Peter Gallagher, Susan Stroman's great. I mean, I feel like this is pretty high.
Yeah, that's gonna be incredible. I hope they set a date soon.
Yeah, yeah.
You're,
Just
you're
as
saying
fall.
fall 2024. Yeah.
Yeah, fall 2024. And then let's see, is there make sure I'm not missing. Okay, then there's just one more. Swept Away. This is fall 2024. The writers, the Avett brothers and John Logan. This is a musical, Michael Mayer, a new musical about the survivors of the 1888 shipwreck off the coast of New Bedford, Massachusetts. The show previously played Berkeley Repertory Theater and Washington, D.C.'s Arena Stage. So that sounds intriguing.
I love the Avett brothers. I could be making this up, but I think John Gallagher Jr. is involved with this production, and he's great.
Oh,
Saw him in Spring Awakening. I've seen him perform live too. After that, he's a great musician. I've seen him play the Avett brothers, so I think he'd be really great in
let me
this.
see if
Yeah, does it say if he's actually in it, or was he in the Berkeley Rep version, or did I completely make it
let's
up?
see here. It doesn't say anything in this article. It says, yeah, let's see. They Swept Away follows 4 survivors of the 1888 shipwreck off the coast of New Bedford, Massachusetts, as they struggle to stay alive. As they struggle to stay alive, they must question whether or not they can live with the consequences of their actions and discover how tragedy can lead to forgiveness. So yeah, I mean, sounds pretty intense.
Yeah. Sounds very
yeah, he says it's already been an amazing journey for us and learning experience, which we've been so privileged and blessed to be a part of. And we are here to announce that Swept Away is indeed officially coming to Broadway this fall. Let's see. The Arena production featured Tony winner John Gallagher Jr. Okay. Tony nominee Stark Sands, Adrian Blake Ensko, and Wayne Duvall, each reprising their performances from the musical's 2022 world premiere at Berkeley Repertory. So Broadway casting will be announced at a later date. So yeah, that would be cool if he ends up being in it.
I always feel like it's nice when they can retain as much of their cast as possible. You know, I feel like it really gives it this, and I know sometimes they need to do like star casting, but he's a pretty big name, so hopefully he'll stay with it.
Yeah. So there we go. That is everything coming as of now. Everything coming in the fall for 2024, and I'm sure there'll be much more announced. But let us know what you think, what your excitement. If you're listening, let us know what your excitement is for these different productions. Maybe you know more about them that you'd like to share with us in the comments. We'd love to hear that. And Jax, where can people follow you, find you?
Jacklyn Collier on Instagram.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place, and at Rachel's Reviews Theater. And at rachelsreviewstheater.com. Of course, you want to follow all things OnStage Blog. And thanks so much. If you can put in your ratings and reviews on iTunes, if you're listening there. If you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and please share with your friends. And we have some really, really fun episodes. So check out the whole playlist, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.